I'm a career coach. So I come across a lot of youth who are not sure of how to go about their career paths, right? Not sure of how to choose their careers. If you were to apply the principles of design thinking, how would you help them?
Okay, talk to individuals, talk to the youth to find out what inspires them. Right? What are they seeing in the world around? This is, in fact, an exercise, a project that I'd taken up when I was in Chennai about 2 years ago. I took a couple of students who were there in the community where I lived, and I asked them to just go around to see where they would want to make a difference. And that was the year when we were looking at reducing the single-use plastics. Okay, I didn't want to actually tell them that this was what it was, but we said, how can we bring about some kind of a change? How might we bring about a change in the ecosystem and the environment around you? And a lot of these children, and there were children around the age group of 5 years to about 17, 18 years, and they actually went around, and I said, just go around and look around and tell me, come back about 2 days later and let us discuss what you've seen. And some of them came back with, okay, I can see some leaves in the swimming pool. I don't want that. I want the electricity to be conserved. So can I turn off the lights? And all these were observations that people made, these individuals, these kids made. And at the end of it, we converged to see what is it that is going to make a difference to not an individual, but to multiple lives. It was a completely design thinking approach that we used, and they went ahead and came back and said, hey, you know what, I think the biggest problem here is pollution. So again, the why, right? Why is it that there is so much of pollution? And we went into the problem identification. Right from the beginning, we started looking at, I start guiding them on, what is the problem that you see? Let's forget about the solution and let's keep the problem at the center of this entire experience. And they went ahead and said that, hey, you know what? This is what we want to do. We want to reduce the amount of plastic that's going to get plowed into the environment because it's clogging the drains. There's pollution out there. The landfills are getting filled up. So what can we do? And then we went on, and just to cut a long story short, which is very, very interesting, I got them to identify tracks within themselves to see how they could work in a cross-functional team, which is really critical in a design thinking kind of an engagement. So there were individuals who were interested in designing. What were they designing? What is the solution to reduce the
Mm,
plastic around themselves? So for people who
beautiful.
were walking around, all of it. So they decided to come up with cloth bags. But it was not just about cloth bags. It was cloth bags that were designed by them. And when there was a team that actually looked at procurement, so they identified, and there was just a little bit of nudging, and the rest of the journey happened on their own. So they identified the kind
Beautiful.
of fabric that was required, the kind of colors that would be required for individuals to carry it around to bring in the aesthetics as well. And then they had a marketing team, they had a pricing team, all of this was formed, and they started working together. And that collaboration that happened was so beautiful. And people, these individuals, these kids actually came back and said, hey, I never knew that I had the capability to come up with this design. And it was in the true spirit of design thinking. What I'd also ask them to do is to keep going back to the end users. Who's going to be carrying the bag? What's their experience, right? You have these wireframes, you have these, quick prototypes. Make these prototypes out of paper and magazines and carry it, get people to carry it, take their inputs. So if you feel that a zip needs to be put in this part of the bag, an end user doesn't need to feel that way. So connecting with, empathizing with the needs of individuals actually helped these kids understand what were real problems that existed, and to also converge to, as part of the project, about what is the problem that they want to address as part of saving the environment. Again, to respond to
Absolutely.
your question, I think allowing them to go ahead and experience people's situations and come back instead of just telling them what to do, to come back and allow them to express their thoughts and to help them understand that making a mistake or having an insight which is probably incorrect is okay. Failure is part of the journey. And when those are
Beautiful.
inputs that are given to individuals, to children especially, the learning curve becomes really high because they end up doing what they want to do rather than what the environment is telling them to do.